This is Konstantin, founder and main shareholder of Coockeroo. I'd like you to accompany us in our journey of becoming a $3 trillion company. And I say that very much so in how I mean it. We are 5.5 years in, and we are basically changing the face of online to offline retail by helping small independent merchants place bulk orders with us on our platform, such as that they can purchase straight from the factory, so we cut out the middlemen. Additionally, it is working on a point-of-sale application, and that is super interesting because the point-of-sale application works on mobile phones. We're gonna grow to more than 10 billion people, most of which will be located in the so-called, I hate this word, but it's how World Economic Forum calls it, Global South. I lived myself 13 years in Morocco and Tunisia. Some of our co-founders are have origins from Cameroon or Nigeria. So we are pretty much attuned to living on the African continent, and we all know that these are like so many different cultures, even within one country, that you just can't, wash over it and say, oh, it's the global south. No, it's not. It's probably going to be, economically speaking, the global north, although it is located on the southern hemisphere. And so, yeah, we would like to empower small merchants and, grow this to a let's say $5 trillion company, because there is a big chance. 180 million merchants are, buying and selling goods worldwide, completely independently, don't have a trade association, and they are serving day by day 4.5 billion people, which is literally already more than half the global population today. So whoever is not ready to go that shift and to empower independent business owners to really, really, really get a grasp on how commerce could also work for them in the future. Because, there's not like big supermarket chains in these kind of countries. Yes, they are for the high-end people, for the people who are like 0.0001%. But for the usual commoners who are at the moment at the median age of 18, like in Nigeria, they won't necessarily go shop at like a mega Carrefour store, which is a big French supermarket chain. So they're gonna shop at the corner store. The way how you get cash in Nigeria is sometimes going to a corner where like a person is there with their point-of-sale application. That person charges a fee to charge your card, and then she or he has cash and gives you cash in hand and has a conversion. So that could be optimized. There's also the Arabic way to finance and send credit around and move credit around, which actually worked pretty effectively in Europe, but got necessarily banned because of anti-money laundering laws and stuff. So yeah, that's the business side, but also lifestyle-wise, I think it's a very interesting time to live in, because overall there are so many changes. Whatever your great-grandparents, your grandparents, and even your parent thought it's gonna be like, I don't necessarily think that this paradigm would be valid anywhere soon in the future, because of information technology giving us all access to the knowledge that probably not even the 0.001% had like 50 years ago. So it's a very interesting time, but only those who are able to master that environment will be the ones who be able to serve others in that point in time. Because money making will not be bound, definitely not be bound anymore to your knowledge. It will be bound to who do you know, who can you be of value to as a human being, because you know who you are and what you're good at and what you enjoy doing and where you can put in your time and effort. That's going to be rewarded in the long run, big time. Most of the things going to be automated. So you really need to get to know yourself and the added value to the people around you in order to maintain any sort of agency and relevance in that kind of new world. And then we are even facing a shift in energy, where energy is going to become literally free. There's different approaches to do that. I don't necessarily think it's going to be fusion power. I probably think it's gonna be it's gonna be something like, getting energy of the vacuum. So it's very interesting to see these shifts happening within 50 years, and by then I'm gonna be 79, so more or less 6 7 years older than my father is today. Today means in 2025, 7th of June. And yeah, that's when the video is shot. So this channel is actually there to entice everybody to think about finance, about business, about startup, about your own lifestyle differently in a future that is so vastly different than whatever your ancestors have experienced in the same period of time. And there's going to be different formats. Yeah, of course, there's a business that my co-founders and I do run. Actually counted, we are 16 shareholders at the moment, whereby there are 6 major shareholders who own basically 99% of the firm. Yeah, and so the question that we have, or the quest that we have, and the questions we need to ask is which future do we want to live in? I don't want to live in a future personally that is actually directed by some kind of elitist, pseudo-elitist group who has no creativity and just wants to gather as much power as possible to keep cohesiveness in society. That's kind of lame. I mean, it's literally some kind of a socialist like romance about everybody has the same, everybody is like, that's we try to play this out like times and times again, different setting, like East Germany, West Germany, I mean fucking Vietnam, where by now Vietnam is really going north in terms of like economically. People feel that they had a substantial economical uprising compared to their great grandparents and even parents. But yeah, so but what do we want to have in the West? So that's something that nobody is really much trying to ask. We face issues. We face demographical issues. We face boredom big time, because you can get everything now. Like your brain is completely saturated with whatever you can have in the moment, dopamine rush type applications like TikTok deliver that feeling of being maximalist, like on a maximum distracted. And so that can't be our future. We need to push forward. And like most Western countries didn't do dog shit about it, like zero. Like the only ones who tried to do something because they had nothing have been the Americans. I mean, America is a young country. It's like 270. It's not even like 21 years old compared to other countries in the old continent, as well as in on the African continent, right? Lots of people in terms of tribes on the African continent are way older, of course, than America is. So they needed to, get their heads together and figure something out. They figured something out, which brought us digitization on a mass scale. They figured out economies of scale, which most of the countries in the world did not, obviously. The way we are built is not coast to coast. The way we interact is by distrust instead of trust. We don't look into the future. We are basically, trying to do an imperialistic analysis on what has been possible, will be possible in the future. So, of course, there's going to be some kind of fucking stagnation there. But, well, what's new? What's the canvas that we would like to paint on? That's an interesting question. And that's what the channel is about. Of course, there's also going to be some medium to disperse information about what we think it's going to be about. And I think it should be more a discussion. Because I personally am not a friend of the fact that like lots of aristocrats, you do your plans between your buddies and then everybody needs to swallow it. It's not the world that can be accepted in the future. by like the 2 billion people who will be born. And the other billion people who are going to die, which is like our elderly in the West. That also includes, by the way, Japan, of course, as a very much industrialized and very developed country. So we need to do something, and like you can go to all the World Economic Forums and to the family office events, and but at the end of the day, it's a discussion that can't be held just with the wealthiest, I guess, because I mean we all are specialized in something. Without specialization, there wouldn't be wealth, because you need to provide a service to help somebody out, as I told you, to make big bucks, and then to make big bucks, it needs to be scalable. So we know something, but we don't know everything. And that's the siren which says we need to do something. Anyhow, that's the intro to the channel. My name is Konstantin. Follow us on LinkedIn. And greets to Gabriel, as well as to Patrick. Greets to Dimitri, to our other Dimitri B, and Dimitri P is like two different people, co-founders. And greets to Dionysus or Dionysos, other co-founders, as well as the other 10 shareholders. Greets to our partners. And guys, if you want to follow, share, like, click, comment, do that. I'm not gonna cut this video. I'm just gonna put it out there, and try to get more and more videos rolling. And then luckily we're gonna have some different type of sequences where I could probably interview some of the founders of supermarkets, so our customers which we serve. They can tell their story, and you also see that entrepreneurship it has so many facets. There's not one way. You just can't just assume Ivy League is the way for entrepreneurship. So you heard the siren. Let's go to war for a better future of us all, right? Not only for a few, because being wealthy in a world where everybody's poor is kind of sucks. Because you need to be isolated, and like who wants to be isolated from other people? Anyhow, peace out, Konstantin.